circumstances may have changed. You may have been under pressure or anxious at the time of the investigation. Please make contact with An Garda Síochána in whatever way you can.
Please come forward and please give us back our sister, because after 20 years we deserve to have her back and to give her the Christian burial that she deserves. It's time now. It's time to bring Sandra home. And it's time to end this pain. I cannot do it without you. I need you.
Marks 25 years since Sandra Collins was last seen in Killala in County Mayo. In 2011, the case was upgraded to murder, but no one has been convicted. Meanwhile, Sandra's remains have never been found. Tonight, her family plead for answers.
I remember standing on the side of the pier where the divers were gone down, and I was thinking, oh, please don't get her. You know, let her not be there, because if she's there, it's over. Like, if we had got her, we wouldn't have lived the life that we've lived for the last 25 years. We grew up in a little village called Fortish. It's just not even a 10-minute walk from Crossmolina town. I've lovely memories when I think back to how we grew up and the closeness that we had. It was really, really nice, special. She was the oldest. Oh, she was lovely, kind, caring, always looking out for others and thinking about others.
So we were lucky that not alone were we each other's brothers and sisters, but we were best friends too as well.
At aged 16, Sandra moved to Killala, County Mayo, to act as a carer for her aunt.
It was just to stay for the summer, just to give her a hand and to help look after her for a couple of weeks. But then it turned into being a full-time thing,
Sandra lived in Killala until the day of her disappearance. She was 28 years old.
Sandra left her and her aunt's house at Courthouse Street in Killala at 7:30 p.m. on Monday the 4th of December 2000. She arrived at a nearby shop at 7:45 that evening. She bought groceries for her aunt and her elderly neighbour. She dropped off the groceries to her elderly neighbour, but she never returned home. The last known sighting we have of Sandra is when she left a takeaway on George Street in Killala at 11:15 p.m.
I knew it wasn't like her. Definitely not in all her life. I never heard her going out and not coming home. The first few days when there was no contact, I thought no matter where she'd gone or what she'd have done, she'd know that alarms would have been risen, and, it didn't really hit me until they went diving for her. And then I was like, could something have happened to her,
The Garda search continued. Then, days after Sandra's disappearance, they made an unexpected discovery.
5 days later, on the 9th of December 2000, Sandra's fleece was found on the pier in Killala. A half-pound of sausages, which she bought in the shop, were still in the pocket of the fleece. This is the last known trace that we have of Sandra.
There's no way that fleece was there in the initial few days after her going missing, no, because everybody was up and down the pier. We were there constantly, and we would have seen it and it would have been found. When that appeared, it was like, oh, there's something definitely not right here.
The finding of the fleece is significant to the investigation, but it does not necessarily mean that Sandra went into the water. In the immediate days, weeks, and indeed months after she disappeared, the Garda plane, Army helicopter, Coast Guard, Garda Tobacco Unit and Voluntary Tobacco Units searched extensively for Sandra. Over the years, there was numerous checks carried out with financial institutions, ports, hospitals and Interpol. and unfortunately there was no sighting of Sandra. In 2010, a review of her disappearance took place, and this was upgraded to murder in 2011. The investigation team believes that Sandra was murdered on the night she disappeared, the 4th of December 2000, and that her remains would be found locally.
You're talking about Killala and murder, a town that has a population of a few hundred people. You're thinking, who's done this? You know, and why? You think, oh, where would we be? And would we be the people we are today if this had never happened and this person had never walked into Sandra's life? There's not a thing that I've ever done that I have regretted. But I do regret the fact that my life and our lives were stolen from us. And they continue to be stolen every single day until I get her back. And that's all I'm asking for, is to give me back my life that you stole from me.
I can't imagine whoever is out there living with this for the last nearly 25 years now, no more than ourselves. It has to weigh heavy. I'd ask them to give her back to us and set themselves free and set us free.
Well, Detective Superintendent Frank Finn joins us now. Frank, you're very welcome.
Thank you.
Now, we can clearly see the distress that this has caused the Collins family. They're really so desperate to know where Sandra is buried.
Yes, the Collins family have endured 25 years of suffering as a result of the disappearance of Sandra. Her mother Eleanor and Joe have both passed away in the intervening years, and which has only added to the tragedy for the Collins family.
As we saw there, Sandra's fleece was found at the pier 5 days after she disappeared, but you don't mean that necessarily means that she went into the water.
No, while the fleece is significant to the investigation, other aspects of the investigation have led us to believe that Sandra did not enter the water on that night. The last confirmed sighting we have of Sandra is in the takeaway on George Street, Killala, shortly after 11 p.m. on the 4th of December 2000.
OK, so how can this case be progressed then, Frank?
This is a long-running, extensive investigation, and we're now approaching the 25th anniversary. And this investigation, which started as a missing person investigation, was upgraded to murder in 2011. We believe that there are people who have yet to come forward who have significant information which will assist this investigation.
All right, so what is your direct appeal to those people then tonight?
We're asking those people to come forward because the Collins family want to get Sandra's remains so they can give her a proper burial. We're aware that allegiances and influences have changed over the time and that loyalties may have changed over the past 25 years. And we're asking people to search their conscience and to come forward with any information they have, however insignificant it may seem.
As we heard, checks were carried out to see if Sandra may be alive and living elsewhere, but you don't believe that she ever left Killala, do you?
No, all inquiries with agencies in Ireland and our colleagues in Ireland and across Europe have had nil results, and it is our belief that Sandra died on the night of December 4th, 2000.
Hopefully somebody watching tonight will have that final piece of information that you need, Frank. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Well, if you have any information on Sandra's case, here's how you can get in touch. You can phone us for free on 1800 40 50 60 or text crime followed by your information to 57765. If you're in Northern Ireland, call us on 08000 393 393 or wherever you are, email crimecall@garda.ie.